begin with our conversations here. It's a busy one. Adrien Crawford, former Noel. Of course, you hear him doing color for Florida State basketball as well. Will join us at the bottom of the hour. So we'll get started with that right off the bat. We got a lot to catch up on there with Florida State baseball. Leonard Hamilton at home tomorrow against SMU. They're going to have a bit of a doffing of the cap. Former players, former coaches, and people that he's worked alongside in his Hall of Fame career. So it'll be great to be there in attendance for that tomorrow. But there is the matter also of naming the next head coach, and we knew they were attempting to expedite that. I talked about this on Thursday. Yesterday? Was it yesterday that I began to talk about this, or Wednesday that I began to talk about how they were really going to try to push this up to be pretty quickly. And I was talking yesterday, Tom, that's what it was, about the fact that, you're starting basically after this week in conference tournaments. And so seasons are ending. And coaches that are in the running for other jobs and the like, all of those things. And that's why you knew that names would start to get out there. Obviously, whispers in the last 24, 48 hours, I mentioned that as well. And I said basically that, we were whittling it down. It certainly seemed like, according to my sources, Luke Laux was emerging as the guy. I'll further stand behind that. It does appear to be the case. I think from a university standpoint, they were trying to wait and maybe not want this to get out because there is the whole matter of honoring Ham at the end of his career. And so it is that, but the whispers, you can't hold stuff like that. I began to get word on this some time ago. And so you knew whether or not you knew that this would get out. And so it does look that way. Now, I want to have a big picture discussion about it because there's a reason that, the candidate pool was going to be as it were. There are a lot of people, I go on the boards and see things where people would say, well, what about this guy or what about this guy? And you had to realize that some of the names on there would never be a real candidate at Florida State because of financial concerns and the money that's not there for NIL, the money that's not there in facilities, the money that's not there for the coaching staff, not just the head coach, but the staff. They have to put together a staff. It's very important, all those things. So, yeah, man, I mean, you have to be more realistic about what's possible. But then from there are a lot of other things to think about. Tom, one of the ways to frame this, and I just pulled up the chat here. No, I'm not wearing a Miami shirt. I didn't even realize this had that kind of color scheme. If you could see, that's an enraged gorilla, and it's a Beastie Boys tour shirt.
Oh, nice. Overseas.
Yeah, it's an overseas Beastie Boys world tour shirt. So that's what that is. From a long time ago. That was them playing in Japan. And I don't know if you've ever seen footage of that show, but it's awesome. It's really well done. Anyhow, so I use this shirt as basically as a workout shirt. It's that material that you like, where you can breathe. And usually from here I go to work out, and so I want to be dressed comfortably. That's all, guys. That's all. You're right. Too close. Sorry, I didn't realize. What do you want me to do? I just saw Beastie Boys. I grabbed the shirt. It's the material I needed. That's all it is.
You're just never allowed to wear those colors, man. Never. That's how it works.
Anyhow, I do want to talk a little bit about what Florida State's up against, because I was saying before that no matter who they hired, they were going to be up against it for the time being. Because, again, this is not a place that traditionally has invested really even a little bit, guys, even a little bit in college basketball. And that may change. You may see, because I think, Tom, we're on the precipice of finally seeing some significant change when it comes to Florida State basketball and how much investment from the university side we see. I think we may see a form of reorganization and a little bit more of an emphasis on a sport that they have not emphasized at all. I think you can make a very good argument that they have emphasized in the way that they divvy resources in the athletic department, I think you could make an argument that they have valued non-revenue sports more than they have Florida State basketball. That they have given, from a percentage standpoint, more money to non-revenue sports in many cases than they have men's basketball. And that now has to change. And I don't know why, by the way. I don't know why that happened in the past, but that's the reality.
Yeah, the last time you felt like there was attention being paid to basketball was probably Carl Hicks. Remember that era? Where Stan Wilcox imbued Carl Hicks with the power to be the basketball czar within the athletic department.
Mm-hmm.
That was when the locker room changed. That's when they at least started to change the seats from the multicolors to the all garnets, and the scoreboard was up. That felt like a time where there was resources being directed to the basketball program. But since then, it's, we've had some good classes, but I don't know about, the bells and whistles.
So here's a good way to clarify what I mean and some of the misconceptions, because Noel Dad brings up a good point. This is what I would say too, right? Well, wait a minute, Jeff. I mean, they built a basketball facility for the team to practice in, bought the Tucker Center, and replaced all of the seats. Well, okay, whoop-de-doo on the seats. But let me just say this. Know that men's basketball pays $30,000 a game to play in that arena. More than $1 million a year. Westcott owns it. Okay, so we pay more now. The men's basketball program pays more now than when the city owned it for these games.
Isn't that just one hand giving money to the other?
They get, all the men's basketball program gets, all the basketball gets, period, is ticket sales. They don't get concessions, and they don't get suites, and they don't get parking. They get a whole lot of nothing. They have to pay, if they want to play in their actual home arena, instead of just the basketball facilities, which are next door. So you want to shoot on the actual rims you're going to be shooting on the game. You want to try to emulate and act as if it's a real game and set up the lights and the scoreboards and do the whole thing and get a good practice in there. They have to pay $1,000 or thereabouts to practice in their own arena. It's run by a group called the Oakview Group. They manage it. And then what the Oakview Group does is charge Florida State basketball for anything that they deem they can in order to manage it. So if you have, let's say a hot dog costs $3.50 at concessions. Okay?
$3.50.
All right. If they do a promotion in which it's dollar hot dog night, Tom, for every hot dog they sell for that promotion, they have to make up the other $2.50 on each dog and pay it back to that group.
Interesting.
So
why do I feel like your break lines need to be monitored over the next week? This is very specific stuff you're bringing to the table.
I could go on.
I have no knowledge of.
I could go on and on about this.
I know about the suites and club level because, of course, we've dealt with the fine folks that deal with the suite level and the club level of the Civic Center for years, and we love them. Fantastic people.
Let me point something out, bigger picture, instead of, you're right, burning a bunch of bridges and stuff I know about how much they screw the basketball program. Let's
Centerville Road has some ditches now.
Let's just do this, for example. When you are trying to play big boy basketball in a big boy conference, well, this conference is no longer that. It was, but let's say it gets back to that. And for most of all of Leonard Hamilton's time here, that's what they've been attempting to do. And you have that sort of an arrangement, which isn't good. And you are paying, in terms of the staff, what you pay out to the staff is nominal amounts of money compared to what other programs in your league have to offer, and other programs around the country that you're seeking to compete for these spots have to offer. You have to understand then that your opportunities are so limited to bring in the elite assistant coaches and the elite head coaches, even for interviews or anything of that ilk, right? Because they're going to hear what the total budget is. It's $2 million for the next head coach. It's 1.5 total for the staff beyond that. It is just over $1 million for the NIL. Now, that is a bottle of piss to any other meaningful coach that would ever come in here and sit down for an interview. It's no money.
I thought this was a Libations Friday.
So the point is that I've been trying to make for years is that they have paid little or no attention to basketball in terms of resources and a real effort to win. Let me give you an example. Calipari, I'm not saying we would ever hire Calipari, but people saw Calipari leave Kentucky and they thought, what in the world would Calipari go to Arkansas for? And on the surface, if you just read the surface, you'll see that whatever. These are roundabout numbers. I'm going by memory. So it's like something like whatever that was. He went from $7 million to $5 million or something like that, right? And people were like, well, he knew, right. Well, here's what else he knew. Arkansas guaranteed him $5 million a year in NIL at Arkansas. $5 million. He's also got a deal in which he makes up for what he wasn't getting in salary. He's getting his money. He did not take a pay cut. He's getting his money through lots of means. And that's on top of whatever they have for the facilities and all the other accoutrements, if you will, that Florida State does not have. And that's what you're competing against when you sit down to try to bring in an up-and-coming coach, a rising star in the business from a small school to who now has an opportunity to interview with several big schools. We can go on and on and on and on. But not having the ability to compete for the upper crust in terms of talent because the NIL is not there, not having the money in which to lure the biggest names in college basketball to come be a part of what you're doing here, not having the kind of deal with the facilities in the arena that you play in that other schools have in which they own the arena. Like Westcott brings in that money, but that's not helping the basketball program.
Yeah, that seems awfully convoluted to me because it's one wing of the operation handing money over to the other wing of the operation. Athletics versus university.
Listen, that's a point of contention at that school, I can just tell you.
Ooh, boy.
So there's always this level of politics and this is always the kind of way this is.
It's a little dicey.
I mean, imagine you're paying $1,000 to practice in your own arena. You got to come in and set it all up, turn on all the lights, do all the things yourself, and then say later on the ladies want to use it after you're done, then you're going to pay more for their ability, even though you came in and set the whole thing. This is how that goes. This is how that goes. And there has been a lot of frustration over the years about it. And I think on the surface, you hear things and you think, oh, well, this is better now that the university owns it. They had a better deal, did the basketball program when the city did.
I think everybody wants to know the answer to this question, which is, at what point in the last 24 hours did you decide that you wanted to go wage war on the operation over here?
I don't. I want people to understand the problems that plague Florida State basketball and why me and others have said that it would behoove them to probably bring a guy in who has an understanding of these issues at Florida State, the things, the obstacles. Ira wrote about it. Ira wrote about it in his column about the next basketball coach. You go to warchant.com, read Ira's column. He talked about one of the reasons that he thinks Steve Robinson failed. And I think he's right about that. And by the way, it made me feel incredibly old, Ira, the manner in which you wrote that column, because you pointed out the amount of presidents and athletic directors that have come and gone in the time that Leonard Hamilton's been here. I was friends with and talked with Dave Hart right after this hire. He mentions Dave Hart, who was 5, 6 athletic directors ago. He points that out in the story, and I went, ooh, that's a toughie. I've been here for all of that. I remember going to basketball games and sitting next to Dave Hart and having conversations about basketball, about FSU athletics, about all of it. And him taking umbrage with something I had said on the air that day and deciding to call me over and talk to me about it. And then me getting to know him through arguments him getting to understand my perspective on issues. Not that he needed to, but he was a pro's pro. He got it. And we would sit down and we would debate while watching basketball together. And he would say, look, that's a fair point that you're making. However, it's more nuanced than that. Allow me to explain. And that gave me greater context by which to have the discussion. And I always appreciated that. And if I had concerns, I could reach out and say, hey, look, man, why ... And he would say, please allow me to retort. And I would hear the rest of the story. And we would decide, how this ended in terms of the discussion and where I was going to go. Not in terms of the talking point, but I always wanted him to understand why I was saying what I was saying. And he always wanted me to understand why the university or the athletic department did what they did and why they did it. And that was a really good and open, honest dialogue. That was a long effing time ago. And a lot of things have changed. But man, basketball's been hamstrung for a long time. And now that you're going to be making more money from the ACC and there's a success initiative at hand, you can no longer sit idly by and not care whether or not basketball succeeds. It is important to your bottom line that basketball not be mediocre. It is important to your bottom line that basketball now succeeds, plays with the big boys, gets an opportunity to make the NCAA tournament every year, is funded as such eventually. Now, if it's Luke Laux or it's anybody else, you have to understand that they're going to start hamstrung. As long as they know what they're getting into, as long as they know what they're walking into. And I think the number one thing that's going to happen, and we're going to talk to Adrien about this, so I'm probably, we'll rehash some things here. They've got to go about the process of finding ways to bring in more money above and beyond what they're going to be allocated out of the $20.5 million that they get for the athletic department from the house money.
Right. Yes. You mean a third-party operation wouldn't just be for national marketing deals. It has to be for cash, like direct cash that can help you bolster what you're doing. I totally agree. That's at least until there's more legislation and or agreed upon principles among the powers that be.
Like a good example, Tom, it's the littlest of things. But, the programs that have invested and care about basketball, I'm not saying that Florida State should care deeply in the way that Duke does about basketball. We're not going to. That's not our history. That is their history. It is North Carolina's history. In many ways, you could look at this and kind of hold up the mirror and say it's a reflection in reverse. Like Carolina and the powers that be have had to drag their people, their money people, their influential alumni into the world of big-time college football, and they've had to do it with those people kicking and screaming. But wait, what about basketball? That's what they've had to do. And they've had to say, F your basketball, man. Don't you understand we're going to be left on the side of the road? This is over. Great. We were awesome at basketball, and we can be again, and I would like us to be, but you can't at the expense of football. This has to change. And now I'm saying we may be on the precipice soon, because of where this is headed, of finally changing our attitude towards basketball.
Yeah, this is something, a concept that Gene Williams talked about in his 5 Takes article this week, which is at least when you compete within the conference, and we're trying to get out of here, understood, and we're hoping to get out of here sooner than later, understood. But if you're going to be making more money than fellow members of the conference to the tune of $15 or $20 million, then that should only make the rich get richer in terms of chances of representing the conference in the postseason. Now, everybody looks at football first and says, yeah, if we make $17 or $18 million more because of our TV ratings, that means we have fewer excuses to lose to ACC teams. We have fewer excuses to not be in Charlotte because we're making so much more money. Well, wouldn't that hold for basketball as well? That should hold for basketball as well. That this should give you a chance to narrow the gap with a North Carolina and a Duke who invest way more than we do. Doesn't mean you're going to catch up to them. Mm-mm. They prioritize it higher, and they should. But this extra windfall of money should at least be sprinkled, right? If it's 3/4, if the brand initiative thing about ratings is 3/4 football and success initiative, 3/4 football, 1/4 basketball, can we give 15 cents to basketball at least?
Keep talking.
All right. Well, I think it only makes sense. It only makes sense that if you're going to have, even if it's 20% of the new revenues that you can get for succeeding on the court, 20% against football's 80, that means you should be investing some kind of money into basketball in order to help yourself financially continue down the path. It begets itself. The success begets itself. That's my point.
All right. So
Got what you needed?
I did. And I appreciate you doing that. I don't expect, just so people understand where we are right now with basketball. So, you take a Kansas, a Kentucky, a Michigan State, and an Auburn, a Tennessee. These are the highest paid coaches in college basketball. But if you go down this list and start trying to find, just size up the ACC coaches and where Ham falls in this list, okay? Like, you're going to go down a long ways. Like, for example, Florida is paying their basketball coach, not the staff, but the coach, $3 million a year. They're 42nd in the country, I might add. They're behind, Oklahoma State, Texas, Oklahoma, Washington, Northwestern, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, K-State, Iowa. All right, but keep going. Leonard Hamilton was this year, his final year after 22 years, was the 59th highest paid coach in basketball. He was behind San Diego State's head coach, Creighton's head coach, Cincinnati's head coach, Colorado's head coach, Miami of Florida's head coach, Cal, LSU, Gonzaga, well behind Clemson, behind Oregon State, behind Texas Tech, well behind Florida, behind Oklahoma State, Texas, Washington, Northwestern, Vandy, Mississippi State. You get the drift. Now, I ask you, where does Lonnie Alameda's salary rank among softball coaches? I believe it's second in the country.
Would you be coming after Lonnie?
I think the next closest is maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of $400,000 behind her.
Lonnie raises a lot of money on her own for that program.
I'm not taking shots at Lonnie.
All right.
I'm trying to explain about investment. Penske, soccer coach.
Yeah.
Where do you think his salary ranks?
Relative to other, yes.
Is it number one? I think
top
it
five?
It certainly is, right?
I would say top 5.
Where's Mike Norvell's salary?
Top 10.
You can keep going.
Well, that's correct. That should always be.
Fine.
Yes.
But I brought up softball. I brought up soccer.
Yeah. National champions.
They better be.
Right.
Yeah. Imagine. Yeah. You see what's possible?
Right.
I tire of people. Well, he should. You don't have the money.
Right.
You've never cared.
Just like the city of Tallahassee doesn't care about giving you your $52 back.
I'll hear from somebody, I'm sure, on this show at some point. $52.
Looking at you.
My wife was appalled when my wife was absolutely appalled when I told her that I paid it.
I can understand why you did, and I can understand why she's appalled.
Well, I didn't want to pay it.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't have. That's why we're going to legislate this publicly.
I didn't want to pay it, but I don't want to keep getting a bill that's going more and more and more and more above what the original bill was. And
never owned a Toyota, city of Tallahassee.
Never did.
Shame on you.
Didn't borrow one that day and park it somewhere that I should.
How about you give him a $52 credit for the downtown on Park Market? You give him a voucher that he can go get some woodwork. $52 off.
All right. Adrien Crawford going to join us here in a few minutes. We'll talk more FSU basketball. It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV.
Listen up, lads and lassies. Get ready for 3 days of pure crack and Irish shenanigans at the annual St. Paddy's Day Block Party at the Brass Top in Midtown, March 15th, 16th, and 17th. That's right, 3 full days to enjoy lucky libations like green beer, perfectly poured Guinness, Irish whiskey specials, and more. While you dance your best jig to live music all day each day. And there's no cover. It's the 11th annual biggest and baddest St. Paddy's Day Party at the Brass Top in Midtown, March 15th, 16th, and 17th. For more details, visit our Facebook page. Slancha.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Hey everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing NMLS 373031.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Treywick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator sales, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Treywick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Treywick. Professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontreywick.com.
Right now, Kohl's is giving away millions in instant Kohl's Cash in stores for free. Yep, that's right, because the Kohl's Cash Ultimate Giveaway is back. Hurry in to claim yours while supplies last. Plus, you can score 3 days of deals in store and online this weekend. So don't miss out. Head to your nearest Kohl's this Friday through Sunday before it's too late. Kohl's Cash Giveaway valid in store only. Redeemable only that day. Some exclusions apply. Not valid on Sephora at Kohl's. While supplies last. Ends March 9th. See store at Kohl's.com for details.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Rolling on this Libations Friday. I hope you are well. I hope you're excited about a little Florida State baseball today. Maybe make your way over to the TLC Double C for a little Florida State basketball on Saturday as we doff the cap to Leonard Hamilton. And then, of course, I began the day by talking of the whispers that abound now about Florida State's next basketball coach. Speaking of knowing something, a little something about Florida State basketball, let's bring in my next guest, Adrien Crawford. You guys remember Adrien Crawford. Adrien, by the way, you know what I didn't know? Buddy, it's good to have you on board again here to talk, but I didn't know you had to apologize to the Northwestern athletic director for giving him the slash throat gesture after a 3.
I absolutely did, man. Dave Hart makes me go and write an apology letter for doing that, and I was a compliant kid, so I listened to the athletic director and I did it, even though I was inside. I was like, "Hey, if you don't want me doing that, don't let me score."
Hey, so quick question.
Yeah.
How did you apologize? What did you say? Because it wasn't from the heart. You didn't mean it. What did you say?
It was, I think if I can remember right, I was like, "Hey, in no way was I trying to be disrespectful to, Northwestern, their fans, blah, blah, blah." And it was like, I had to say this, but deep inside, I was like, they're cussing at me the whole game. They're saying stuff to me. And so that's the only reason why I responded, because they were at me the whole game. So I kind of just gave, honestly, I gave them the political talking points, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of kept it moving, and that was it.
So when you pull up from damn near the logo for that 3, it's certainly beyond an NBA 3, and you give them the slash throat gesture. Were you even in your own mind at all? You're not even thinking, right? You're just in rhythm. This is a good shot. Yeah. I like my look. Here we go. Get you some.
Yeah, that was it. It went in there, and what was funny? I didn't even when I let it go. And it was like, because, the game was going back and forth. And when I came off of it, I let it go. And I remember that when it went in, it was just the emotion of it, it just kind of came out. And it was whatever. But my friends, what was funny, my teammates were like, because, I use like my index finger.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, man, you didn't give him the thumb. You gave him like the butter knife. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even give him like I didn't even give him like the machete. I gave him the butter knife. I was like, oh, man, I wasn't even thinking about it. So, but no, that was, but I tell you what, man, basketball, that's the beauty of basketball, is just being able to, you get caught in the moment. And, it's never harm. It's never things like that. It's just a part of the game. And so, it was good. I loved it.
Let's talk about Florida State basketball. Let's first, I want to ask your thoughts on Leonard Hamilton, just in the sense that obviously, Leonard very, very, very well. And I've appreciated over the years what Leonard's been able to accomplish. Obviously, there's no perfect coach, and he's not perfect. But I just got done laying bare the facts about Florida State basketball, and I think one could argue that they've never really invested in basketball. Now, first of all, this is a football school, so nobody's going to apologize for that, and they shouldn't. That's fine. We get it. There are basketball schools, there are football schools. We get it. But I guess give me your thoughts on what he has accomplished, given the fact that he's had to work, and every Florida State basketball coach has had to work with one arm tied behind their back, in my opinion.
You're absolutely right about that, Jeff. I mean, I was talking to some former assistants, and before they redid the Civic Center, they wouldn't, before the recruits would come in, they would literally go over there and put like caution tape over the doors and say, hey, they're doing some stuff. Like, they would have to tell recruits, although they're renovating in there, they're doing stuff, because they never wanted to show them. They didn't want to show them it. So, like, they would have to do stuff like that, or, you come into a place and, we're getting guys we're battling against Kentucky and Kansas. They have their own facilities that are, all the stuff. And so I think what people fail to realize is that Leonard Hamilton made this job seem easier than what it is. And I think that is the difference, is that he got a lot done with little. And I think, that run that we had from 15 to 21, I mean, it was unbelievable, the ability of what they were able to accomplish during that time.
Well, they averaged finishing in the top 2 of the ACC during that run. Think about that, Adrien. I know you appreciate that, but people should think about that for a minute. During stretches of that run, they either, depending on the given year preceding, were finishing in the top 3 of the ACC or the top 2. And they were doing that at a massive deficit in investment. It's remarkable. Now, that's not to say there haven't been lulls, and we're in the midst of one now, and it's tough to take, and people are ready to move on in a lot of ways. What is it? And we hear the whispers that it may very well be former FSU basketball player Luke Laux that's going to be named. It's not official yet, but those are the whispers that are out there. Let's say that it is. What would you say is the biggest challenge for whomever the head coach is going to be at Florida State? What is the biggest challenge that they have to know and overcome?
They're going to have to, I think when you hear Florida State, there's an incredible, the brand, I always say the brand of Florida State's healthy. We have an incredible brand really throughout this country, really in the world. But I think when people come in, they're going to think of it as a typical Power 4 or 5 school. As far as when they come in, you're going to think, man, what your NIL budget's going to be like that of a Georgia or Kentucky, things like that. And it's just not. You got to be incredibly resourceful. You're going to have to be creative. You're going to have to approach it. Honestly, a little bit like how maybe the Oakland A's approach when they were, in their little run they had. You're going to have to figure out creative ways to win. You're going to have to figure out creative ways to go in the portal. You have to maybe go overseas, things like that. You just got to get creative, and you got to get some really, really good coaches. I think that, if it is Luke, I think he's going to probably do a great job in bringing in some seasoned guys with head coaching experience who can do it. And I think getting an NBA guy is great because in the day of college basketball, it's pro basketball now. And so in that, you got to be roster management. You got to build a roster. I think that's where a lot of coaches have gotten tripped up. They've tried to approach it the same old way instead of you have to build a roster like a professional team.
That's what I was going to ask you. The game has gone, all of college athletics has gone more towards a pro model. And therefore, I would guess anybody that's coming in to coach college basketball would have to approach it as such. You're getting a guy who's been a bench coach now with Sacramento and has worked his way up from Golden State to Sacramento. He coached some summer league. He's done all that sort of thing. I just wonder, how do you put together a roster like you're talking about? How do you lure kids? What's the methodology in which you convince kids that, hey, this is the place for you. I have this approach, and therefore this is the way we want to play. Come here instead of these other places that can offer you more money. How do you do that?
Yeah, I think it comes down to one, you got to know the way you want to play. You got to know the type of kid you want to go after. And I think the other thing, if it is Luke, what he's going to be able to sell is this. His development and the next level what he's been able to do at the professional level.
Right.
And he knows what it takes to get someone there. So that's going to have to be the sell. That's a lot what BYU's doing. Now, BYU's is throwing a ton of money at kids, but their whole approach has been, we are the next stop before the NBA. We're going to run a pro-style offense. We're going to run our program like a pro-style organization, so you will have an easy transition to the next level. I think that's a way that we can do that. And I think we can sell really the development because, you look at De'Aaron Fox, he gets most improved player. And if you look at him, he gives so much credit to Luke Laux. Kevin Herter, other guys, they all give Luke so much credit for their development. So I think that's going to be a huge thing. And I think, if a guy like that gets here, he's going to really be able to sell getting guys ready for that next level.
Buddy, that would be a shirt that I wore. I'd have a picture of De'Aaron Fox saying, I love Luke Laux, because that dude's a stud. And, I'm watching him in Sacramento before he got traded to San Antonio. He's a star, and he routinely said things like, well, I really appreciate all the time Luke Laux has spent helping develop me. Honestly, that does resonate, doesn't it, Adrien? If you're a 17, 18-year-old kid, if De'Aaron Fox shows up in Tallahassee, and God forbid he reaches deep and gets Steph Curry to roll in here, and he might. Imagine if that happens. Like all of a sudden you're mingling with dudes that are stars in the NBA.
No, you are. And I think that what you're going to also be able to get is, De'Aaron has, he took that big jump and like I said, gives a lot of credit there, but a lot of other guys, Malik Monk and others, give a lot of credit to Luke. And I also think what you're going to be able to do if you get a guy like him, what a lot of people don't know is like a lot of the guys on that team are all doing some really cool stuff. You think about Jeff Peterson, who was on that ACC team, is now the general manager for the Charlotte Hornets. Andy Birdsong, who was a GA at that time, the vice president for the Brooklyn Nets now. You got people all throughout, professional organizations. David Dulke's right now being with the Brooklyn Nets, and Jordy Fernandez, who Luke was with, who's the head coach there. So you're going to have a lot of pro guys coming back here and really just building that family, kind of what football has had. where when you come back here, these guys are going to want to come here in the summer, be a part, because they know like they don't have to go to Vegas or somewhere else. They can come back to Tallahassee and get their development. So now you're mixing with these pro guys as well with these current college guys. It's going to be a great time.
It puts you on the spot, but we're out of time, so I've got to ask you, do you like the hire if it's Luke Laux? Did you think this is the route they would go, or would you have looked elsewhere? And I understand it's not personal, but I really respect your knowledge of both the university, the game of basketball, and all the connections that you just referenced are absolutely spot on. Do you like that hire?
Yeah, I do. I think it needs to be a Florida State guy. I would have been fine with Luke Laux or Charlton Young, who's with Dennis Gates.
Yep.
I know Dennis Gates is going to be out of our kind of price range, but I think one of those two guys I would have been fine with. So I'm good. I mean, I think Luke's going to come in and he knows what he's coming into. And I think that, you know, we will look back on this and, you know, and kind of see, man, this was a great hire, you know. And so again, it's going to, and I think it continues the legacy and pays respect to Coach Ham as well.
Brother, I appreciate it. It's good to talk to you as always. I'll see you out and about. We'll talk again real soon.
Take care.
All right, you take care. That's Adrien Crawford, former player here. You've heard him do the radio color announcing as well for us over the years, and I've known Adrien forever, going way back to when I was first on the air doing mornings. And, you know, look, I was wondering if he'd go there. There are problems with any of the candidates. This is the pool of guys you have to choose from when you're Florida State. You're not choosing can't-miss guys that have succeeded year over year countless times elsewhere at named programs. That's not the pool that you're swimming in. You were going to have to take a chance on a guy whose resume is not complete. Listen, Sam Cassell's resume not complete at the college level. He has barely been around college basketball in 30 years. Also, with Sam's situation, I didn't think we could get Sam because A, I thought he'd want too much money, and B, you're an assistant coach for the Boston Celtics. They're on the verge of winning their second consecutive championship. When was he going to be here? You got to have somebody in here now hits the ground running. Every candidate that's been listed, including Luke, has flaws, has very real question marks about whether or not they can get it done. But that was always going to be the case. That's who you have to bring in, guys with question marks. Now you start to add the pros and the cons with everybody, and you look at the connections that he's referencing, and it's a new dawn and a new way of thinking about how you build a program. And I can guarantee you, Luke Laux is going to bring in lots of the aforementioned superstars that he's worked with at varying points to come down here, play a little pickup 5-on-5 at the $30,000 a game arena we pay. Sorry, I keep taking those shots. But anyhow, that's what's going to happen. Now, imagine you got a kid that you're recruiting. Imagine all of a sudden he's rubbing elbows with De'Aaron Fox and others.
Right. That's not going to beat Duke out for services, but that will beat some other teams that you are trying to compete with. The funny thing is, I said it yesterday, I still believe that it's going to take a little time, so we need to be patient with the hire. I know. You aspire for something that I don't think is achievable in the immediate.
Teasing.
I'm saying give me a decade like Leonard's in the 2010s, and you're a successful coach. Give me that decade. I'm just asking for that all over again. Now, it fell to pieces after COVID and NIL and the transfer portal. Got it. But if you can give me a decade where, yeah, there are going to be a few down years, but think about that.
Yeah.
2010, 2011, 2012. You're building towards something. It looks like you might get fired. I'm not so sure. 11 was good. 12, you win the ACC championship title in the tournament, I should say. And then you have this crescendo in 17 and 18 and 19 and 20 where you go, holy cow, this is something. That's what I'm hoping out of the next coach. I'm not hoping for advancement. I'm hoping that they can, in the new era, keep us as relevant as Leonard vaulted us to in the 2010s. We'll see.
We will. Have we done the news, or did I just blow past it? We did it, right? No, we didn't. Oh, good Lord, guys. Bear with me. I got fired up. We had that conversation to have. Let's go to the news, come right back, and do a real short segment. And then we got another
Hopefully we have breaking news one day that $52 has been restored to your checking account.
I'm going to get some text after today's show and then the stuff that I said yesterday about the city screwing me out of money.
I really want to know who you're coming after on Monday.
Well, we'll see. There
Gene
might
Hackman's estate?
There may be a target. We'll see.
Your local news now.
An Apalachicola man is behind bars and charged with 10 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material and 7 counts of possession of material depicting sexual abuse of animals, according to a press release from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. 38-year-old Gerald Adrien Velasquez Ramirez was arrested Tuesday after a month.
All right, gang, a new sponsor on board here for Warchant, all of the entities that we have here on Warchant TV, and that is Ridge Wallet. If you've seen these on maybe a bar top or a countertop near you, here's why you need to join and go grab yourself a Ridge Wallet. We're going to save you money while you do it. Ridge Wallet holds up to 12 cards, hotel keys, whatever you need, plus cash. It is super light. It is not like my old wallet. I had one of those giant tri-fold leather wallets that ended up starting to tear away at the back pocket in my pants. If I forgot, for example, to take my wallet out when I was playing golf at Capital City, you'd start to get that little tear at the seams because the thing is so damn heavy and bulky. Also, when you're traveling and you're going through security at the airport, it's just another bulky thing that kind of drives you nuts. And until you get something better, you don't realize how much it was inconveniencing you. So that's why when Ridge Wallet said, hey, would you be interested in having a promotion run through Warchant, through the Jeff Cameron show, through Wake Up Warchant, we said absolutely. And here it is. I got mine. It's bright green. That way I don't miss it. If I set it down on the table, I don't forget it. But it holds up to 12 cards, as I said, and it's super, super light. This is the way right here with Ridge Wallet. You can get up to 40% off at ridge.com/wakeup. That's right. Right now, it's a once-a-year anniversary sale. Get up to 40% off at ridge.com/wakeup. Just head to ridge.com/wakeup, and you can be saving today. All Ridge wallets come with a lifetime warranty, so this is literally the last wallet that you'll ever have to buy, and make sure to give us credit after you purchase and save up to 40%. Let them know at ridge.com that we were the reason you came to buy.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds
there's like, families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti. Right,
yep,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape, and
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Florida, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Well, I'm talking about it, Tom. Just something else to point out here real quick. And our thanks to Adrien Crawford.
Oh, boy. Who else are you coming after?
Nobody else right now. But if you want to look up, I gave you the exercise if for people who didn't understand the depths to which I was talking about a coach that's here operating at a deficit. And I mentioned what we're able to spend on softball and soccer. And, go look up baseball. I think Link's one of the higher paid baseball coaches. So that's as it should be. He's doing a great job. But my point is, like, you're going to invest in all of those things. And then you got the 59th, you get it,
Well, yes, that's why when this all went down, I was a little bit angry and I received some, feedback on that. Whereas, man, what he did, what Leonard Hamilton was able to do with less, people get so tired of hearing it, but it doesn't make it untrue. It doesn't invalidate the truth of all that he did.
I think it's important to note that he failed miserably in some areas too. So I'll give you one. Community engagement. He's awful. And it was to his detriment. Luke Laux, or whomever the next head coach is, I believe it to be Luke Laux, will be awesome in the community, and he gets it. He will be doing the shaking hands, kissing babies aspect of the job that helps you raise money in a way that Leonard never would. Leonard did not view that as something he ever wanted to do. He viewed it as feeling indebted to somebody if he got them to give, and he didn't want to feel that way. He wanted to build it on his own the way he had done his whole life.
Well, and to your point, there's a former coach at one of the programs at Florida State, could be any one of them, who felt the same, well, not on that same level, but was willing to criticize or call to the carpet another coach in the athletic department saying, I'm not them. I'm not going to go raise my own money. Which tells you behind the scenes that there are levels to this thing about investment and going and building your own program, literally helping build your own program. And I can tell you that you mentioned the softball coach earlier. That is somebody who is extremely aggressive in funding themselves. Trey Jones is extremely aggressive in funding his own program.
Understanding who and what you are in the sport you coach is very important.
The spoke in the wheel. Yes.
You have to know what you are. You would never ask the football coach necessarily to kind of operate that way. Now, he's got to do everything in his power to make sure he connects with boosters and do the tour and those kinds of things. But pleading for money and actually being a part of the hands-on, I'll take you golfing this next weekend, big-time golf supporter. I'll be the guy flying to Tampa to golf with you.
Sounds really fun, but in general, this is the heavy lifting because you're trying to win games, but you got to do this. You have to.
Right. And I don't think Ham ever really embraced that. In fact, I know he did not. And I think that is something that changes right off the bat, that you will see massive engagement. It's fascinating, the machinations of how things get done in the athletic department and what's emphasized and what isn't. Hour number 2 forthcoming on a Libations Friday. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, did you see the new portable building from Southeast Portable Buildings? It's like a mansion, but you can move it.
Oh, come on, man. A mansion? It's probably just big enough for your collection of the world's smallest spoons.
You think I'm kidding? This thing has more space than my in-laws' house during the holidays. And I can finally hide from them in style.
Well, I guess if you need a place to escape or maybe to store your emergency cheese stash, Southeast Portable Buildings has you covered.
Exactly. They've got models for every taste, from classic to modern. Plus, they're built to last longer than my New Year's resolutions.
Well, speaking of resolutions, I resolved to get one of those buildings for my backyard barbecue empire. Imagine the grilling space.
So Tallahassee, don't wait. Get your own slice of portable paradise at Southeast Portable Buildings.
Yeah, give them a call today, 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400 or online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Because sometimes you just need to escape, even if it's just to the backyard.
Take a sip and have a trip with Tallulah's famous THC slushies. Lots of fun flavors to choose from. Refreshingly delicious and the perfect way to relax. Stop by Tallulah's and try the all-new sugar-free Jolly Rancher slushie today and find out why everyone is going mad for honey. A rare, intriguing, deep red honey harvested from the mountains of Nepal. Mad Honey is the latest trend, creating quite the buzz. Literally. Try Mad Honey today, only available at a Tallulah store near you. There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Knowles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your sports flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
College basketball, Florida State, they end up losing to Virginia yesterday, 60-57, as Virginia really had to scramble at the end to come away with a victory. Jameer Watkins leads the way. He scores 18 points in the loss. Virginia now leads the all-time series against Florida State, 32-28. Seminoles close out the ACC regular season when they match up against SMU coming up on Saturday. Miami basketball, they lose to Georgia Tech yesterday by an 89-74 score. Central Florida, they are in action tonight as they are set to play host to Oklahoma State and number 5 Florida, playing arguably the biggest game in the nation this week tonight as they match up against number 7 Alabama. This Sports Flash is presented by Progressive. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo insurance and save with Progressive. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
Stop fighting the algorithm. You know you can't get enough Florida State filling your feed. Well, there's no better way to keep up with FSU on YouTube than with members-only level Warchant. It's going to get you bigger, faster, and stronger. How? Bigger!
It's hour number 2!
Join now for exclusive access to a bonus segment of the legendary Seminole Headlines.
Faster!
Get debut access days in advance of the public release of the latest episode of X's and O's with Dominic Robinson, a look at the All-22 film.
Stronger!
Utilize the Member Milestone Chat, a new feature which allows your comment to be highlighted in live chats during Warchant.com shows for maximum visibility. All of this in addition to members-only flair like badges, emojis, and polls to drive the conversation of the home of the ultimate Seminole sports source on YouTube. Give it a try. Cancel it anytime. No commitments, no phone calls, no emails. Just a few clicks within your YouTube account. Warchant.com members only YouTube. The next level in FSU coverage on YouTube.
About the Lawn Johns. They're the best. Anything for basic lawn care like mowing, edging, weed eating, and they can do even a full landscape design. Believe me, it's incredible. In fact, Elon and I have big plans, and we're going to grow grass on the moon, and guess who's going to be doing the lawn up there? Yeah, you got it. The Lawn Johns. Call them right now, or for a free estimate, you can visit them online at thelawnjohns.com.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call is the best way to avoid a recall. That's why she trusts Grainger's world-class supply chain to deliver the high-quality supplies she needs to help keep her production line, her equipment, and her customers happy and healthy. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
and we were pretty much all things basketball last hour with the news that it looks like Luke Laux will be named the next head coach at Florida State. And we talked about what he confronts as he comes into this situation. I do always like when we're on the precipice of the new, because he gives everybody the opportunity to reset. And the slate gets wiped clean, the good, the bad, and everything in between. And then you get an opportunity to look objectively, and you're not burdened by the things that happened 9 years ago, 2 years ago, 15 years ago, in the case of Ham, 22 years ago. Like, you're able to, all right, fresh slate. You like the hire, you don't like the hire, fine. Everybody voice their opinion, whatever it might be. But here we go. We're starting at zero. What's reasonable? What's a reasonable expectation? Let's have that conversation. How quickly can this get turned into something that we can be proud of, as I like to say, a program of merit, a program of note, a program of distinction? We're not going to be Duke. But could you be an annual NCAA tournament team? Can you be an annual top 5 until we leave this godforsaken conference team in the ACC? And how does your expectation shift knowing that there's going to be a larger budget, not significantly larger, but a larger budget to deal with? I mean, I think football, from what I understand, out of about the $20.5 million that they're going to get for the athletic department to pay the athletes and NIL and that money, that 75% of it's going to be football, as we understand that it probably should be.
Yeah, that's a number or a percentage that's bantied about in a lot of different circles. Being, different athletic departments have budgetary decisions based upon maybe their basketball program is more popular, like Duke versus Florida State.
Correct. They'll move money around.
Another circle it's bantied about is in Title IX versus made proportional to versus made available to. What is the language that's actually going to be attributed here? Is it dollar for dollar must go between men's and women's sports?
It can't be.
Not when you're talking about it's based upon TV revenue. I agree with you.
100% can't be.
Right. I think it should be proportionally distributed against television revenue. So if you were Iowa women's basketball last year,
Caitlin Clark made you a lot of money.
Holy cow. Your program's about to be rich the next year.
Very briefly.
But it will be, and that could make a huge difference in terms of your competitive balance. But yeah, I'm still, generally speaking, you can get into the weeds or you can look at it from afar. Either way, I'm skeptical I got to see it. And I'm hoping that Luke has some answers, because you can't just come in here and say, okay, these are the parameters that Florida State wants to abide by in terms of investment for this, that, and the other. I accept, and I'm going to use only those resources to get us there.
Zero chance.
No, it can't be.
And that won't be.
What that means is it's going to take a little time to build in those resources. Hopefully, Luke is successful in doing that. And as he's succeeding, you hit this lightning lane when you have the new money coming in from a Power 2 existence. And now you're really cooking. So he's already built something, and he built more with less. And that's fun, and it's exciting. And you've got some pipelines that are established. But then you get the nuclear amount that you need in order to take this place from where it is now to how Alabama and Auburn is a number 1 and number 2 on the basketball court matchup. How the hell did that happen? Well, money really expedites that process.
Oh, it's exactly how that happened. Money and more money and a little bit more money, followed up by some extra money.
Could be that's the new Iron Bowl. Maybe you just played in basketball because you'll be the top 2 teams in the country on the hardwood.
It's funny because if you look at the inefficiencies of how athletic departments are run, college programs, I could debate, are largely poorly run. And what would happen, like, for example, Tom, we hear a lot these days about private equity coming in or being utilized by schools. You know what would happen if private equity came in and took a look at the balance there of how college programs are run? They'd slash the hell out of it because it's inefficient. They would say something like, okay, wait a minute, you're the associate director of basketball operations and you're making $300,000 a year. Well, that's the basketball coach's job. Get out. That's what they would do. That's how this would work. And sometimes it'd be terrible and sometimes it'd be good. But it's funny to think about now. You get a chance to reassess all of it. If you're Luke, you come in and say, okay, look, we've got to get this figured out because every dollar matters.
Right.
And this is what I'm going to have to do. And I'm going to, so that would be, it's fascinating to see where we're going with college sports being run like pro sports. And they don't really fool around in pro sports. There is a real understanding of roles, dollars, all of it, and how it works and why.
Well, what would help a lot is if the 20.5 plus whatever it is that NIL collectors put together helps regulate the market. Because I feel like the ambiguity of those markets, now they know behind the scenes how much a kid costs, but if you can control those costs and bring them down into a range that's more reasonable, then it's less guesswork and less 11th hour changing that you have to do because somebody else outbid you. Well, they can't outbid you because there's a cap here. That would be very helpful the near term of college athletics if you could somewhat regulate the market to where you are blindly guessing that we may have, because I feel like when you're here, you're more apt to swing and miss completely. Rather than if you're at Duke, you could miss on a kid, but you got another one lined up because you're Duke.
Yeah, it's like being the Yankees and screwing it up in free agency as the GM because you made the wrong decision and then just covering that up with dollars by going out and getting the fix-it from some other small team like the Pirates who have a better player at the position in which you guessed wrong.
Right. Yes, that would be, you could just bring the replacement player in. Here, I feel like if you're going to swing for the downs, you better hit it out the park. Because
you have to be right.
Isn't a second guy.
Yeah, if somehow you were in the running for Cooper Flag and
right, he said no to you on the last day. You go, oh my God, where do we pivot? You got nowhere to pivot. You're Florida State.
Yeah,
but if the market is controlled a little bit, now you can start cooking things on the back burner. That would be where college athletics could help Florida State. But you're going to have to come in here. Make no mistake, you're going to have to come in here with an idea of how to supplement what you're being given substantially to get it done.
Because I'll point this out. Calipari was told at Arkansas, you'll get $5 million a year in NIL at Arkansas guaranteed, plus whatever you get from the rev share. Well, for Florida State, that number, FSU with rev share, out of the $20.5 million that's likely going to football and, how we pay the rest of the athletic departments. So let's say 17 of that $20.5 million is going to football.
Good.
Okay, right. Well, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I know you're good.
All right, so the remaining $3.5 million is going to get divvied up. What's basketball get? 1.2, maybe.
Right.
And I would point out, by the way, that that's kind of the amount that they would give softball. They're going to have to change the way they view what basketball is, Tom.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to have to look at basketball.
Succeeding on the softball
diamond.
I'm thinking of the circle on the mound. But yes, the diamond does not equate to a success initiative from the ACC television contract. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to have to view basketball differently.
You can actually get ROI if you're good in basketball.
Yes,
like
real money
from the ACC.
Yes. You're going to have to do that now. The onus is now going to change. I'm buoyed by that. That's not to take away from the successes of soccer or any other non-revenue sport. And I hate that it's even called that. I mean, whatever, Olympic sports, call it that. But that's fine. But you are going to have to view basketball differently and care deeply. Like, you're going to hold feet to the fire now. There aren't no long-ass stretches of being mediocre.
Well, here's an outside-the-box thought. What if we tax the fans? What if
we need more money from the fans, from the boosters, from the alumni, from the supporters of any kind?
Let's tax the fans to help raise those funds.
An athletics tax, you could call it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, they're responsible. They better get it together, stupid fans.
Parking's now $45.
So what about that popcorn that I told you about, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
That's a special brand.
That is.
I'm fascinated. I am excited, but we shall see. I'll have to ask those questions of Luke when we get him, if that's the announcement, or whomever the coach is. The question's the same. The question's the same. I do think we're going to change the pressure, like the talking points on a daily show like this, or that folks who cover this program write about at all the various sites and on the beat and all that. It is going to be refreshing that you can just say, knowing that what the success initiative rewards, buddy, it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice to be able to say 2.5, 3 years in, things aren't going well. We got it.
Yeah, I just hope that we afford the new coach 2 years, 2 full seasons, because of the hurdles that they're working with. It's different to be Link Jarrett at Florida State baseball than it is to be Luke Laux at Florida State basketball. There's so many more factors for Luke or whoever it's expected to be Luke. So many more factors for that hire to be able to succeed. Link, although I'm sure he'd like better facilities and they got the pitching lab, but he wants more. He wants a new
He
house.
deserves better facilities.
Yes.
And so did Mike Martin Jr. and Mike Martin for that matter. Go ahead.
The path to elite level success is paved. With basketball, unpaved, tree roots that you could trip over, dead animals lying in the way.
Yeah, there's a lot.
You hear some rustling in the brush. You're wondering if that's an animal or a person. You feel unsafe on that path. So let's give them a little time. I know that we want the success initiative to kick in and pay us back right now.
Oh, no.
You
Of
got to
course.
give them a little time.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to get your ducks in a row, all that sort of thing. There's no doubt. By the way, the more apt descriptor of the things that you're trying to avoid and that you're frightened by on your path has to do with floodwaters. Yeah, that's that stadium's problem. Water, mold, puddles, nonsense. Quite literally the problem they have at Hauser. Not just the ones you can see. It's all the ones you can't see. Been that way for a long time. That place is a dump. And I love Florida State baseball. And I love going to Hauser. I love being in that stadium. I have fond memories. I'm nostalgic about the place. They could tear it down tomorrow. They could tear it down tomorrow and build something worthy of a program of this stature. It would be great. It would be great for those players, these coaches, this university, and its fans and supporters. And it should happen, especially if he's sustaining success at the level we think he's going to. Let's hope it does. Let's hope it does. I hate looking around the entirety of the SEC with whom we compete for titles. That's the real deal now. And seeing, 85% of those stadiums being cathedrals by way of comparison to Florida State. Hell, I hate looking around the ACC. Most of those programs haven't had near the sustained success and the height of success that Florida State has had. And they too have far and away better facilities for baseball than Florida State has. It's nonsense. It pisses me off. Every time I'm watching a game, like, look at this. Look at this joint. It's pristine. 8,000 seats. They've got stuff in the outfield. Kegs. Hey, feel free. Come on in with your food and your beer. Have a good time. All of it.
The idea of it opening up next to College Town it fits too well, doesn't it? We could be standing on the deck at Hotel Indigo and overlooking the game of baseball.
Oh, forget about it.
That would be fun.
Those kids would funnel out of those bars at College Town, stumble into that stadium, boisterous as hell.
Adults would funnel into those bars in College Town, and you have the kids giving you the look, saying, "You olds, get out of here. I hate baseball season. This is my territory.
Get out of the way, kid. You're a bum.
That's right.
And you're broke. I have money. Leave."
It ain't $2 beer night tonight, is it, son? I'll take the $9 IPA.
Yeah, because I can.
Because I can.
Chad. It would be great. It would be fun. I'd like that interplay. Excuse me, son. There are grown-ups here about to go to the baseball game. You can't afford it. We're going to take – what would you like? I'll buy you around. And then just go from there.
Get Chad a mozzarella stick. Just one.
Get Chad a mozzarella stick. Right. Yeah. Maybe a stuffed mushroom, Chad.
He looks hungry.
We'll take the crab legs. And what do you want as a side there, babe? Okay. The sliders to boot and another round.
Truffle fries.
Yeah, good time. Shannon Young has made a move to be part of the nation's largest mortgage company. Now with Cross Country Mortgage, that means good things for you. He's in 7 states. That's Florida, Georgia, Bama, Tennessee, Texas, and the Carolinas. You have more options, stronger support, and faster response. Shannon's a relentless, goal-oriented guy who has energy for days. I can attest to it. That guy's running marathons on the regular. He's also at every Florida State sporting event. Diehard Noel, wanting to help out other Noels, loansfornoels.com. That's loansfornoels.com. Tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
Ain't nothing but a G-Pod, baby.
I am 99% sure that is not how the lyrics go.
Well, you like remixes, right?
Of course.
Well, think of this as a Grassroots Coffee remix per se, because Grassroots Coffee is now in the single-serve coffee pod game.
Dude, those single-serve coffee pods and cups are weak sauce.
Not Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. They have more coffee in them than regular single-serve pods and cups.
Seriously?
And not only do they have more coffee, they have a built-in filter for better brewing. They fit in most Keurig machines, and they are fully compostable.
It's still the small batch, slow roasted coffee you love, so go to grassrootscoffee.com and get your box of G-Pods today.
Baby.
See? Remix.
Well, actually, that's more of an homage.
Grassroots Coffee, locally owned, locally roasted, and made for everyone, loved everywhere.
Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. So very good.
Gather around Tallahassee. It's time to fire up the grill and make some unforgettable family memories, courtesy of Hearth and Patio. Whether it's juicy steaks, succulent burgers, or those special family recipe ribs, they've got the grills that will make your backyard the hottest spot in town. From gas to charcoal, they have the perfect grill for every meat lover's dream. Call Hearth and Patio today, where the quality of your cookout is their passion. Give them a call today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Florida man, what's wrong this time?
Well, it's my alligator Hank again. It's so dang cold, he's been digging all these holes in my backyard trying to find some heat to keep himself warm. But he doesn't want to come out to eat, so I have to yank him by his tail. Now my back is killing me again.
Poor Hank. I mean, I'm really sorry about your back pain.
You have any idea how hard it is to pull an alligator out of his heat hole when it's colder than a polar bear's toenails outside? Not to mention the added weight of the gold chain I bought Hank last year for his birthday.
Well, it's time to get you back in to see the doctors at Penn Chiropractic. You can book your appointment online, so there's no waiting in the cold.
You're right again. Look out, Dr. Finn. I'm coming in hot.
At Finn Chiropractic, they'll get to the root of your pain and deliver the solutions. Book your appointment online at finnchiro.com, and you'll even get an online discount. Visit finnchiro.com today and find your path to a pain-free tomorrow.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Shane Lowry, if I could say his name, leading the way at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, where it's a beautiful 74 and not nearly as windy as it was a day ago. He went -5 today, Tommy. 8 under for the tournament. Wyndham Clark right there, just -1 today, but still -6 overall. Followed by Corey Connors, Russell Hindley, and Rory McIlroy, who's gone back-to-back 70s for a -4. Taking a look out there to find any nulls or pseudo-nulls like Ludwig Abor. And yes, sir, he's at -2, and he's currently on the course. T10 right now for Ludwig, who's becoming more consistent. And he's really, really fun to watch play the game. As for any of our guys, it's not going to be the same kind of week, or at least it doesn't appear to be.
Berger's fighting to make the cut.
He is inside the line right now. 2 under on the afternoon, which is nice. +4 for the tournament puts him on the projected cut line ahead of Thomas Dietrich, who's going to miss the cut at +5. And remember, I was kicking around Thomas Dietrich. Thank goodness I told him to go to hell.
Victor Hovland continues to struggle mightily. Going to miss the cut.
Just keep firing coaches after winning the Tour Championship, dummy. Change your swing after winning the Tour Championship, dumbass. Why do these guys do it? You're not Tiger. Tiger can change his swing 157 times and win majors afterwards. You're Thomas Dietrich. You're Victor Hovland. You're Maverick McNeely. You're not. Stop it. You're Davis Thompson. You're not that guy. You can't do it. You're whoever. Harris English.
Austin Eckroat.
Steven Yeager.
Aaron Rye. I wear 2 gloves.
You're Max McGreevy.
What a name.
Oh, Max McGreevy. I think I win. You're Joe Highsmith.
Yeah, well, Joe Highsmith, I'm pretty sure he was a 3-time All-American, and he was actually known as the 5th horseman.
You're Sam Stevens. You're Nick Taylor. You can't do it.
Speaking of Sams, remember when everybody fell to their hands and knees to lay before Sam Saunders, the grandson of Arnold Palmer?
It was a toughie, yeah. Didn't work out.
He's never good, man.
No.
Well, there he is.
Yeah,
there he goes.
I think that's got to be ungodly amounts of weight on you at that point.
Maybe he should be the one in the golf cart next to 18 so that all the players can pay their respects to Sam Saunders this weekend. Oh, you can see there Adam Scott walks by Sam Saunders, the grandson of Arnold Palmer.
If you were the head basketball coach at what do you think the head basketball coach at Colgate makes?
Oh, man. I was trying, everybody.
No, what do you think he makes? He makes less than Leonard Hamilton. Don't worry about that. What do you think he makes?
$1.25, 1.25.
No, this is why I was going to bring this up. This would be incredible. He makes $517,000 a year to coach basketball at Colgate.
All right. Are they the toothpaste?
That would be cool.
Is that their mascot?
That is not. The Murray State Racers pay their coach $523,000 a year. What do you think? You make over $1 million a year if you're the head basketball coach at St. Mary's.
Yeah. That's Gonzaga's foil, right?
Yeah.
That St. Mary's, not some East Coast version?
No, it's not the fake St. Mary's. Goodness gracious. Vermont, remember when we had that coach on?
Oh, dear God.
He was funny.
No problem with the coach. It's just that we played them
in the NCAA tournament
in Hartford, so it was basically a home game for them.
Yeah, we won.
That was a very frustrating game.
For a while.
Yeah.
We pulled away.
We did. Terrence Mann had a big drive and one, I believe, to help ice it.
Terrence Mann with a nice salute to Leonard recently.
We were bumpers that day. That was good weather.
$375,000 that dude makes a year.
Terrence Mann?
No.
I was like, he's
Terrence
makes way more than that.
Terrence makes a lot more than that. The coach of Vermont.
Oh, okay.
Texas Southern pays their coach $283,000 a year. It's good work if you can get it, man. That is doing some things. And then there's also like maximum dollars that they can make with all this other stuff. Like you can look at their base salary, but then go and look at what they make off their sponsorships from Nike and others. You're like, wow, man, what a gig. I'm a multi-millionaire out here coaching at Wingate. What the hell am I? This is incredible.
I thought that was a hotel chain.
I mean, it's incredible. What a cool thing. Yeah, it's becoming more and more apparent that it does look like Sacramento Kings assistant coach, Florida State alumni Luke Laux will be the next head coach at Florida State. I know this. I've talked to Luke over the years. He loves Florida State. You're going to have a passionate dude willing to work hard. He's from Florida, went to Clearwater, going to be all in, buddy, and has a sense of what the place is. So in that sense, I'm excited because I think no stone will go unturned to raise money and to get this thing operating at a higher peak efficiency, if you will.
Good old Clearwater High, home of the turkey trot every Thanksgiving. You finish right there on the track at Clearwater High.
We played Clearwater High, the Tornadoes there, as I recall, in a jamboree when I was at Lakewood. And I've told this before, but there was a guy in the second quarter that hit me as hard as I've ever been hit before. I got ear-holed. And it was a thunderous shot, number 52. And I found him after the jamboree. It was just a jamboree. We won. But I found him afterwards and dapped him up, told him that was a hell of a hit, 52. And he chuckled and said, thanks. And that's the extent of my interaction with anybody in athletics since at Clearwater.
I had one moment there as well. I was doing Friday night stringer work for the St. Petersburg Times. And I was covering Clearwater Dunedin. Good game. I was clad in my Shamrock American Eagle track jacket and cargo pants and cargo shorts.
Had those cargo shorts, did you?
Had the cargo shorts and flip-flops from the American Eagle as well. And there was a collision near the sideline, and I was trapped because the coach let me in front of him, like in front of the players. Some of the coaches, you weren't allowed as a media member to walk up and down the sideline. Some coaches would let you because you were stat tracking, which they really appreciate.
Yeah, they know, yeah.
And there was a collision, and I was able to jump over the collision with the explosive legs that I had from hockey skating. And put the helmet down into the ground, get over the kid. And the coach said, that's a nice leap there, son. I thought your knees were done for. I said, no, sir. I was not going to lose my knees tonight.
Getting trapped on the sideline of a football game and or practice, it's
for a full-speed clash?
It's problematic.
Yeah,
it comes on you quick, and you realize it's about to happen as players make their way. And
Director Ben got in the end zone in Thomasville this year. But that's harder because you're looking through a camera lens. So you don't have an appreciation for the
how close
danger.
It's going to be.
Oh, he took it in the ribs.
Oh, yeah. Ben's a big guy.
He is. Yeah.
He can handle it.
But he had real breathing problems for a few days.
He took a shot?
He did.
See, that's directly correlated to your age. Like, can you take that shot at 32? Hell yeah. Can you take that shot at 52?
Right. Yes.
The recovery period's a little bit different. I remember what it was to take that shot. I haven't had to do it in a long time.
Well, you know the calculations. Can I get over something? Can I get by something? Can I sidestep something? Or do I need to bow up?
Yeah, and wear this.
And at 18, I can get over this.
Yeah.
Ain't no thing. Ain't no problem. If I was 38 and in that same situation, something's breaking. Something's going to get broken.
Probably. Well, we saw it last year, and I don't want to get specific, but we saw an individual out there get caught in the middle of the field as an assistant coach.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was off the books.
About died.
That was off the books.
And now that I know the person's okay, I got to admit it was hilarious.
That was a DJU bomb. That was a wide open shot play. It really was.
And get your head on a swivel, sir. What if you're
going to a cannon?
You're standing right there on a post. What are we doing? And that was just a classic, like watching the whiplash, the whole damn deal.
The best of those moments came on Jameis Winston's pro day. You remember that one?
Oh, well, into the NFL Network.
That was Christian Green, I think.
Poor Christian Green out there trying to do the right thing by Jameis Winston and track a ball that was deep into the back corner of the end zone. Bam! Into the set of the NFL Network.
He did not have his eyes.
Metal bars flying everywhere, chairs going all over the place.
On anything but the football.
Well, because he was concentrating. Yeah. He wanted to catch the ball on Jameis's behalf. It's a little overthrown. And he's like, I'm going to get there. And we were all like, and you hear all the people, because it's quiet in there during pro day, and you hear all the people like, oh, Jesus.
That's the strangest part about a throwing workout on pro day.
Quiet.
It's as though somebody's got a 4-footer to win the Masters.
It is so quiet, but I love it because you can hear the ball whistling. And when Jameis, during pro day, guys, it was something to behold. That thing, when he cut it loose, It just through the air. It was unreal.
That's crazy. Was that 10 years ago this month?
That whole process was amazing. It always will be one of my favorite things ever. Not only did we watch the pro day, the season, all that, we got to go to the draft party and the whole to-do.
You've told the story about being mic'd up, right? Or Ant was mic'd up?
Ant was mic'd up, yeah. And I walked over and said what I said.
Yeah.
Can't repeat that.
No. Somewhere, though, there were people in the truck.
Somebody in the truck got to hear me say something that was hilarious, wildly inappropriate, but hilarious. And Antonor was mic'd up. Jameis Winston's father was mic'd up by the NFL Network watching his son work out.
You were critical of networks?
I said something, yeah. Well, I said something about a guy that I'm not a fan of to this day. I believe that might have been a shot at Sao Paulo.
Oh, no.
No, it was just the network.
If you're thinking of a field reporter for ESPN, is that what you're trying? Because Mark Schwartz did that was one of the worst field reports you'll ever see.
Correct.
Asking kids on campus, he's out by dipping ball.
They gave that poor guy an enviable task, and he screwed it up.
Well, he leaned into it.
He leaned into it, indeed. Almost like it was personal.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and I took a shot. Yeah, all I remember was Ant laughing and looking over at me being like, I mic'd up my man. That's all I said. He was like, I mic'd up my man. And when I told you that, my favorite part was you instantly thought of the guys in the truck listening, going, ooh.
Well, having sat sideline for some of your, many of your Jimbo Fisher conversations, I know what it is to hear things unfiltered and even blush a little bit. Sometimes even Jimbo can make you blush. I'd heard a lot of things. Like, ooh, okay.
Oh, that goes beat to hell. There's that, all kinds of things.
Oh, man. He went down the line. Spurlock, Datko, Zebri, all of them. He's like, they're all hurt. And he would say different things.
Yeah, different things about them. I asked him one time why it was that we got one false start a game from old Zebri.
I don't remember that answer.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I do.
Yeah.
Not for consumption.
It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
3 individuals have been arrested in Thomas County on multiple drug-related charges, according to the Thomas County Sheriff's Office. On February 27th, agents with the Thomas County Thomasville Narcotics Vice Unit arrested Tyler Floyd, Ricorius Coleman, and Quayla Cochran. The 3 suspects face charges possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. During the operation, authorities seized approximately $500 in cash. The investigation is ongoing, and further updates will be provided as available. A 22-year-old bicyclist from Quincy is in serious but stable condition after a collision with a car early Tuesday morning on I-10. The collision happened at 12:38 a.m. A sedan driven by a 21-year-old from Yulee was traveling in the same direction when the biker veered in the direct path of the sedan. The front of the car collided with the biker, launching them into the median where they sustained serious injuries. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Cromley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 71. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 54 tonight. Cloudy skies expected. Overcast skies tomorrow. Chance of rain showers. High temperatures reach up to 72. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 72 degrees.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude, I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean,
No, I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Florida, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Florida State baseball tonight, and then in the afternoon tomorrow.
1 hour earlier, yeah.
Tonight or tomorrow?
Both. Well, actually, 2 hours early tomorrow. So here's the new schedule. Put it that way. I'll put it up on the screen.
Get it out there, buddy. Get it out there.
5 p.m. instead of 6 today. So if you're saying, "Whoa, that's so," yeah, get in the car, go. Tell your boss, it'll be fine. They'll
5 p.m. start time, baby boy.
I don't understand why they moved that up, because if you're not going to play 2 tonight, you might as well just kept it 6. Whatever. Tomorrow noon. It was formerly 2 p.m. and that's because weather is rolling in.
Formerly known as 2 p.m.
That's right. The artist formerly known. And then Sunday at noon. I don't know. I don't know about that.
You don't think it's happening?
If you want to go,
calling it.
If you want to go this weekend, go tonight, and maybe bring a poncho tomorrow.
They should play a doubleheader then. Just get it done. By the way, I'm just going to tell you now. Here's a guess. And maybe I'm wrong. I could very well be wrong. If it's not inclement weather tomorrow, then you're going to get more people at the baseball game than the basketball game. Tubby. What time did you say first pitch is again tomorrow?
Noon. So that actually it opens the door.
It does. It does. That might work out.
Doubleheader.
That might work out.
Speaking of ponchos, very briefly, have you ever seen Stone Cold Steve Austin's cat, his barn cat poncho? That content? Oh, no. It's actually very good. And I'll leave it there. But hey, Poncho, come on out. You son of a.
Is he big?
Poncho is.
Yeah, he's probably a sizable cat.
Scraggly looking, and he's got macho now too. But it's just these little short videos of him talking about what he's doing on his ranch while he's bringing Poncho out and talking to Poncho. It's so simple, and it's really good.
Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam declined a request to meet with Myles Garrett. By the way, the NFL Network first reported that. Brown spokesman declined to comment. We know Myles wants to be traded. That's a bit of news today, but it's kind of what I said before. They don't feel compelled to do it. He's got 2 years left on his deal. Meanwhile, the Washington Commanders have told Jonathan Allen ahead of free agency that he will be, and they did indeed, release him. That's a 2-time Pro Bowler. And that ends an 8-year relationship with the Commanders. They could not find trade partners, and that means he, in the midst of his final year of a $15.5 million base salary, no more guaranteed money remaining, he is out there. The Washington Commanders saved $16.3 million in cap space. They figure to do the Commanders, who are sitting prettier than almost any team in the National Football League, to be very, very, very active in player acquisition via free agency. They are on the cusp of going for it. And they have the quarterback to do it. Obviously, you see Deebo Samuel, who, unfortunately, I can make both arguments with Deebo. He drops 1 of every 13 passes thrown his way. That's a drop rate that is appalling. Whenever I hear people say, but he can play running back and wide receiver, well, there's no real value there, because if he's lined up in the backfield, he's going to run it. And if he's lined up at receiver, he's going to receive it. You're not fooling anybody by his ability to do both. And also, he's not an elite running back. So just give the ball to your running back. There's no real great value there. But Washington brings him in. Now, with the ball in his hand, he's a beast. And he will bust your ass on a tackle attempt. And he's fun to watch. I'm not saying he's without value. Right. There's real value.
But he's a sports car. He's in the shop a lot.
He's in the shop a lot. He drops too many passes. If he holds on to them, you kind of have a problem on your hands once he gets up to full speed. because that's a grown ass man that you're trying to bring down, and to that end, it's very, very impressive. But he does have real flaws in his game, and I can see why they decided to take it on down the road. The Titans released linebacker Harold Landry III. Remember him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really good. The move saves the Titans $10.9 million in cap space, increases to $17.5 million if Tennessee designates Landry's release as a post-June 1st move. All the machinations. They signed him to a 5-year, $87 million contract in 2022, suffered a torn ACL, and it's brutal. Imagine the moment you sign a guy because he's a stud. You've identified him as a stud. You pay the man his money. 5 years, $87 million, 2022. Guess what happens? Preseason 2022, torn ACL. Has never been the same.
Did have 9 sacks last year, though.
He is productive because he's great, but he's not the same guy they gave the $87 million to, which was a wrecker. I'm glad he was able to return, though. That would have been devastating. That would have sucked. You know, I hate that for guys. I mean, he's a baller now. He's a baller. I'm not taking shots at him.
He'll make some money. That'd be actually a nice risk for Tampa to take. That's the kind of player that you don't have to pay him a ton. You can incentivize that contract versus trading for Hendrickson out of Cincinnati and giving away the farm to do it.
I would love to be on the other end of one of these moments where we're having a conversation like this. The Bills are keeping one of their team captains. They agreed to terms with the linebacker, Terrell Bernard. It's a 4-year contract extension. Keeps him with the team through 2029. And he's really, really good. All that matters is the guaranteed money. You'll see astronomical figures, and most of it's not real money. It's just what you can get guaranteed and how much of it is up front. So the deal is worth $50 million. But in order to get him to sign it, they said, well, here's 25 today. Don't spend it all in one place. Buddy, imagine that meeting. Your attorney calls you. Tom, they're going to do a $50 million deal. You're already giddy, but you're hesitant. How much of that is guaranteed, sir? 25, and they're going to give it all to you today in the form of a signing bonus. Works better for them on the cap. Do you mind getting that $25 million check? Direct deposit? Hold on, it hasn't gone through yet, babe.
Oh, man, I know somebody that I know fairly well that sold their stake in a company, and it wasn't that, but it was within the ballpark, and they were describing to me what it's like to look at the account and then refresh it until it finally pops and the transfer is complete. I'd like to know what that feeling is like one day, but I doubt it.
What do we do on the day that you refresh and it's $25.2 million? Where are we going?
I don't even know.
Where are we headed?
I'd be frozen in place.
I think we'd have to kick it around. We'd have to be like, all right, buddy, what sporting event is coming up real soon? And who amongst our friend group are we flying there? I mean, it's your money, Tom. I can't tell you what to do, but where are we going?
Well, I think first of all, what I would do is quietly go to a bar that I love.
Buy a round?
By the night.
Sure.
Yeah. Just everybody's drinking for free tonight.
Yeah.
And then I'm also going to leave Uber and taxi credits.
Sure.
But it won't be announced. It just happened. And
nobody
knows who did it. You know, just one of those anonymous things. Remember that one weird night at Corner Pocket?
They just started giving out beers, and it was great.
It's all free.
Yeah.
I would do that probably in a couple of places immediately.
Sure.
But it would also depend on the seasons. We're very seasonal. So what's coming? The Masters, I would buy my way into the Masters.
Well, it wouldn't be hard with that money. You'd find somebody who would part with the badges.
Yeah.
We'd be going to the Masters.
But maybe go get
rent a really nice house in
one
Augusta.
of the homes there. Yeah.
Augusta secretly kind of sucks. Having been, sorry if you're in Augusta listening to me, don't take this personal. It's never personal.
I don't think that's a secret. The town?
No, yeah, I'm letting people listen. Everybody calls the town home, and there are people who get upset.
Isn't Hooters one of the nicest restaurants?
I've been ripping places for years, and everybody takes it personal, even though I rip on my own city. But the point is, when I got to Augusta, when I went with Trey, I don't know what I expected, but I got into Augusta, and I was like, good God, man. We're going to get robbed. This is a dump of a place. Now, there are nice places in Augusta, just as there is everywhere.
Right. You get off the main highway and you go, oh,
Okay,
this will do.
Yeah, there are neighborhoods
Right.
that you're like, oh, okay, I got it. But Augusta's no looker. Augusta's a 5.
Well, that's kind of like we've been on a junket trip several times to Dothan, and you're in the main areas of Dothan, and it's growing. Now, that place is expanding really fast. But then you get into the golf area, and you go, oh, well, Dothan,
Yes.
look
at you, Dothan, growing up.
10 minutes ago, I wouldn't have guessed you had it in you.
Yeah,
Dothan.
no, that's
Yeah,
true. That's
right,
true.
Right.
Well, and we would always, I mean, if you're a sports guy, and we are, and most of you listening are, you've got your places that you would love to head out to take in to events. It could be a World Cup. It could be whatever, you'd go see La Liga or whatever. I mean, I don't know.
I would secure us Ryder Cup stuff for Bethpage this year. That would be quite the atmosphere. I do want to go to a Ryder Cup at a place where people don't fall all the time.
You did go to a dangerous Ryder Cup. And
then you could congregate and you get the stadium feel.
I was over in Ireland the first time when they had it at the K Club.
Oh, and they're at Port Rush in 2 years. I don't know.
I was at the K Club. I went to the K Club. It was before the Ryder Cup started, and I got to mosey about the K Club, and all I could do was be really, really jealous about not being able to see the event at the K Club.
I have to correct myself. I think Port Rush is this year's open. But in 2 years, you want to go to Limerick?
Go ahead and win that lottery, Tom, and I'll say yes to that.
County Limerick, Adair Manor.
By the way, I didn't see this in the chat till just now. Christian Green was like Kenny from South Park. It's true. It's true. He was on the wrong end of some whoopings. It seemed like poor Christian Green. And, he was always working so hard to try to.
He was. And he had his moments where you go, that's why people thought he could be this unlocked player.
I think it's got to be so hard to take that. To be a receiver, to take the next step, to be that kind of reliable, consistent route runner, great hands, can take punishment while catching a ball, breakaway speed, make guys miss. There's just so much that you have to do to be an upper echelon receiver. And any time that a guy's recruited to that level and they're missing one of those elements that doesn't allow them to be the complete receiver, and somebody else emerges who was a lesser than in terms of their high school tape and their stars or whatever it might be, it's just hard. You just see a lot of busts, I think, there at receiver. You really do. I'm not saying that there aren't players that are highly touted that come in and kick ass right away. It just feels like when we hear about highly touted receivers at Florida State these days, most of the time, they're miserable failures. They don't become anywhere close to what we thought they were going to be. Miserable failures. We're effing it up left and right at FSU. We get guys, 5-star guys, 4-star guys. We're like, they're going to. No, we do it all the time. Oh, he's going to be great. Nope, sucks. Doesn't do anything. Useless. It's 3 years in. Haven't done a damn thing. Still waiting. It pisses me off. Get it together.
We found your next target.
Doesn't it bother you that that's the case?
It doesn't bother me as much as the fact that the city of Tallahassee owes you $52. But it does bother me. It does. Yeah.
And I never know when to cut it off. Like, what's the cutoff point where I go, I'm done with you. You can't play. Because receivers have eureka moments, and it turns sometimes for them. So you're like, maybe I cut him off too soon. I never really know.
It's a big year for Hakeem Williams.
Well,
is that what this segment
This is a very big year for Hakeem Williams, who's done nothing. Now, some of that is not his fault. I question some of the situations he was put in. He has had injury issues to boot. You look at him and you say, that dude should be a superstar. He has not been. Now, I will tell you that I love that he has a willingness to block. That should aid his endeavor to get on the field and maybe be part of the big plays down the field as a reward.
Hopefully, but he's suddenly been buried on the depth chart because we got very aggressive. We got aggressive in finding replacements.
Let's believe me, I want Hakeem to be a very important piece of the puzzle because you look at that body type and you say, man, you could do so many things with him in the run game as well as making big plays in the red zone, all the stuff, all the things. It just hasn't happened at all. And it sucks because last year I think he may have really been able to help out early in the season had he not just ripped his hamstring on a deep touchdown pass in practice. Sucks. Right at the end of that play, when he pulled up and grabbed his hamstring and fell to the ground as he entered the end zone on a 60-yard bomb for a touchdown, I went, are you effing kidding me? That just happened. We were literally getting ready. It's already happened. The season's over. Doesn't matter. I can give away trade secrets. We're walking down Hauser to go back down onto the field. It's the last play of that drill. He scores on a beautiful pass, a beautiful route, toasts whoever's recovering him. It's a walk-in touchdown. He's crossing the goal line, clutches and grabs his hamstring like he's been shot. Ball drops out of his hand, falls to the ground in agony. I went, that's the season. You don't have, I'm not talking about our season. That's his season.
Right.
You don't have a hamstring that hurts so bad that you seize up and drop the ball and fall to the ground without it being a significant injury. And those on a fast twitch player do not heal. It takes forever for them to get right.
Maybe, just maybe. I know you hate it. All these circumstances with blue chips not doing what they were purported to be able to do. Tim Harris Jr., man. Maybe Tim Harris Jr. is the answer. Maybe.
You think so?
He seems prepared.
I hope you're right. Another hour on a Libations Friday. Hang in there, loosey-goosey edition. I think you can tell.
RealTalk93.com.
Oh, that's where that's going to be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the video will be up later.
Be good, everybody. Peace.